I went to Bali looking for something, but I didn't expect it to change my life and how I see things in my life. You know, People have asked me why I decided to go to Bali. Even my driver. Um, and this the one thing I always say is I would tell people something pulled me in, something drew me in. I don't know what it is, but it just said I need to go to Bali. I know that Bali has a lot of spiritual energy, spiritual connections, and stuff like that. Um, and I think that was the one thing that kind of pulled me through. Some spiritual energy called and drew me in. I had something that I felt in my body, my spirit that was blocking me, and I felt like I needed a cleansing and some guidance. So again, that's one of the reasons why I decided that something pulled me into what Bali felt like the correct trip that I needed to take. There is one thing that I never really expected while coming here, and that's just probably because of how my experiences have been in the United States. And that one thing is I never expected everybody here in Bali is just so incredibly welcoming. They're so nice. The people here just treat you so well. They have a really spiritual culture, a really welcoming culture from what I've seen. There's not a single person that I've met or encountered in Bali that didn't smile at you, that didn't say hello to you. Everyone there had a conversation with you. They'll take 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5, 10 minutes just to talk to you, just to get to know you. The locals, the Balinese people are fantastic, wonderful people. They treated you like family, especially at my homestay that I was at. The family that ran the place, every time I came home, back to the hotel, they were like, hey, how was your day? What did you do today? Did you have a great time? And they were just chatting. The people here are genuinely curious on who you are, what you're doing. In the United States, I've noticed that people will ask you questions because they're kind of busybodies and kind of don't want to mind their own business. And it's just not in a curious way. But like I mentioned, in Bali, a lot of these locals, they're genuinely curious about you and why you're here, what you're doing. And honestly, it is really a breath of fresh air, and it just feels so genuine. And their hospitality is absolutely incredible. Like my driver Made from Bali Local Eyes Tour, fantastic guy. We were going to a priest because that's what I requested to do some spiritual cleansing, and I needed some traditional clothing, and we brought me right to his house and was like, hey, you can borrow some of my stuff here. And I walked in and I felt at home. I felt so welcome, so loved, and just, I don't know. To me, it's a feeling I'm never used to when I'm at home in the United States. And it was such a breath of fresh air that it made me just want more and more and more of it. And I can't thank the Balinese people enough, the locals, just for having that lovely, lovely spirit, that lovely attitude, and just, always smiling, always curious, always, they're even making eye contact with you. It's just something that I really, really enjoyed, and I wish that I can have more of that. So as I mentioned, the one thing that I really wanted to do was get a traditional Balinese cleansing, spiritual journey, and I did that. I didn't film inside the priest's house. Some moments I feel like are too personal for camera, but when I stepped inside, the energy felt different, and I like to talk about that. The energy inside the priest's house felt very calm. Not that Bali isn't a calm place that I felt in general, but it just felt very still, very powerful. I don't know how to explain it. It's like one of those things where you kind of just had to be there to really feel what kind of energy that is. The experience itself was just really, really wonderful. I've never felt anything like this before, really being in that much of a spiritual presence and feeling that kind of spiritual energy. I will say, at the very end, I felt different. I felt at peace. I felt like I was more in control. I felt that like just everything just feels calm. And I think the important thing is I felt like I was back in control. And like I said, this is something that I felt like was way too personal to film, but I just wanted to talk about it. This experience has truly changed how I look at the world, how I look at, life in itself. Being in Southeast Asia, especially Bali in itself, just feels so different. Realizing that not everything has to be complicated, not everything has to be expensive, but also like everything is just simple, convenient, and that's just how life should be to be able to enjoy yourself. There is one thing that I want to mention about the Balinese people and my whole trip to Bali is that I felt more like a local there, even though it's my first time there, than I did as a tourist. I don't think I've been in anywhere in the world where when I first get there, I already feel like I belong. And it doesn't feel like that I'm a tourist. And I think a place like that can make you feel that way as soon as you get off the plane is a magical, magical place. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and being a part of my journey in my life to travel in the world, starting a new life and everything. It means a lot to me. But also remember, guys, stay positive, salt your food, not your life.